Action fanatics, welcome to another edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. I'm your host, Chris the Brain. Joining me once again, it is the Toy Man, Chris DiPetrillo.
Once again, and as always, I am back, and the TC tonight does not stand for total chaos like last week's Superman episode, but it does stand for something pretty awesome.
It does, and I think reporting to us live from the terminal station, it's Ryan Campbell.
That's right, I am here in the surface world. It's hot, Brain. The earth is getting hot. It's humid. My AC is broke. I feel like I'm in a post-apocalyptic world. It's very disturbing.
You might need to borrow Gary Robbins' demolition gear to cool off.
I need it.
You are method podcasting here with us this week.
Pretty much.
We appreciate that. It's TC 2000 as we promised. But before we get into that, I don't think we mentioned this last week, but we really should have, because we got to thank our YouTube fans, because they made First Blood Part 2 a huge success over there. Over 2,000. Over 2,000. What's going on?
I don't know.
Thousands of Bulletproof Action fans.
Why that one?
Something in the algorithm grabbed that First Blood Part 2 and said, let's go.
It surely did, because there's other ones on there that have like 8. So you never know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit, but First Blood Part 2 has definitely hit. And that was a very good 4th of July episode. So if you are one of the few people who may not have heard it yet, check it out either where you're listening to this right now. Or it could be YouTube. It could be Spotify. It could be iHeartRadio. It could be Apple Podcasts, Amazon. We're everywhere. We are everywhere you can want us to be.
And if you're feeling punk rock, our Superman podcast is up there now. So if you were a little bit late seeing the movie and you want to go check out our thoughts, they're up on that's up on all the platforms as well.
I did see it for a second time, as I had said I would, and I'll tell you what.
Just as good?
Just as good. Just maybe even better, because I really got to just immerse myself in that
That's
world.
Right.
Very excited, happy to hear that David is signed up for a part 2. Which is not a surprise.
I think he signed up for like 10 years.
I would say so. But yeah, he has definitely said, he's ready for a part 2 when they are. So I know I am. But this is a big movie. Did quite well at the box office. And just, if it's not my movie of the year, it's certainly going to be my feel-good movie of the year, because
it's having legs too. It had the biggest Tuesday and Wednesday of the year this past week. So that means either word of mouth is spread or people are going back multiple times. There's not a lot of competition this weekend. I think the redone I Know What You Did Last Summer comes out this weekend. So it's kind of a different crowd. So right. I think it'll have a nice clear weekend to do a lot more before Fantastic Four comes in next week.
Yeah, I think this week is the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot and the Smurfs reboot.
Yes.
So two
some,
very different films.
Yeah,
I mean, you might get some crossover with the younger kids, but
I wouldn't be shocked if it's still the number 1 movie this week.
Right. I could have gone to a I Know What You Did Last Summer screening. I forgot all about it. But I was like, well, I'm not going to... If I don't cover...
I know what you didn't do this summer.
Right. If it's something I don't feel like I'm going to cover for the site, I don't go to those things. And I didn't really have any intentions of covering that for the site. But it was weird because I went to see Superman, and then I'm leaving the theater, and I see my PR lady set up at the one... And I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? She's like, why didn't you come to my movie? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm like, I don't review horror movies. And she's like, I get it. But yeah, I was like, what the hell? I feel like I am. What's going on? What's going on in this crazy world? So yeah, I missed out on that. I could have seen it for free, but it's all right. I saw Superman again. I enjoyed it just as much, if not more. And I probably shouldn't rule out a third time, but I'm guessing I won't go a third time, but one never knows.
Save that ticket money for the 4K purchase, right?
Right. Or that third time would be like if somebody wanted to go, like, hey, I haven't seen it yet. Do you want to go with me? Yeah.
Or if you had like one of those 4DX theaters or something in your area,
right.
That might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Little note I saw today, and it's a shame that we already did the podcast, but for the 35th anniversary, Turtles is going to be back in theaters August 16th to the 20th. So I'm definitely,
right.
that's one I never even saw in theaters. I just had the VHS as a kid.
Well, yeah.
I'd love to go see that, like, remastered and on a big screen. So that'd be really cool.
I saw in the theater.
I saw that in the theater, but that could be one that I take Zach to. I've mentioned before how I've done a lot of the throwback movies with him, so that could be a good father-son night out.
Indeed. I did see that the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy is coming back to the theater as well at some point this year.
That,
yeah. If anyone's interested. So there's some news for you all. Bulletproofaction.com. Let's talk about that before we get into things. As this drops, yesterday I had something Shark Week related, because it is Shark Week, and not on Bulletproof Action, but on Discovery, that's a long time tradition over there. And that kind of one of the things that kind of inspires us to have those gimmick weeks from time to time. So check that out. Toyman still has a No Surrender Cinema to come.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he still hasn't picked anything out. The man has 10,000 movies under his roof, and he does.
It's hard to narrow it down.
He has 2 posts a month, but he takes it to the wire almost every time. Ryan Campbell, I don't know if you'll be seeing Fantastic Four or not. Well, I'm sure at some point you will, so that should be coming up at some point.
Yeah, I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to try to catch it. If not, it'll be when I get home that weekend. So at the very latest, it'll be the weekend that comes out. So
excellent. Well, there's something there to look forward to. And as we talked about it last week, Actionversary right around the corner. There's things happening behind the scenes. Right now, as we speak, people are doing things behind the scenes for Actionversary. I can guarantee you that.
The chess pieces are being put in place.
Indeed. 11 years of Bulletproof Action. That's something I did not think would happen, especially early on. But here we are, year 11 coming up. So, all right, let's get into it. It is TC 2000. This one was released on August 18th, 1993 from Shapiro Glickenhaus Entertainment. And our story takes place in 2020. And we can talk a little bit about what this movie got right about 2020 and what it got wrong about 2020.
Significant events happened in 2020 that changed the world.
Food, water, and air is poisoned by pollution. The rich have moved underground. Everyone who was not rich is just left behind on the surface world to fend for themselves. We learn about the Trackers, who are the elite arm of the underworld security force. And we're learning about all of this, Chris, with the narration of the one and only Billy Blanks.
Yeah, a whole lot of plot building and exposition from Mr. Blanks in the opening moments. And I just want to say, so Brain, I am assuming, judging by the photograph that you sent me, you watched your copy of the Vinegar Syndrome release.
I sure
of this
did.
movie, as did I. It is available on YouTube and it's on Tubi. And while I was working, I'm like, you know what? Let me throw it on Tubi. Let me dig out the DVD. Let me just kind of have it on in the background. And for some reason, I don't know why the Tubi version does this, because it does not do this on the Film One copy on YouTube. The trauma bumper comes up before it. And this is not a trauma movie, as you mentioned, Shapiro Glickenhaus. So how did TC 2000 get stuck with that classic trauma bumper? The world may never know.
Did Trauma buy the Shapiro Glickenhaus library at some point?
I don't think so, because the Maniac Cop stuff has not come up with trauma.
It sounds like you might have trauma from this.
I think you got a deep dive YouTube video for the channel.
I might have, I am a fan of some of the old school trauma, but admittedly I have outgrown it. I'm not as into it these days. And
quite mature.
The product is very suspect. They're trying to do the same things 30 years later. They just don't hit the same way. But
Kinda
I
like
wonder
if
yes, very much so. So I wonder if they are some type of distribution arm for some of these older movies now.
Correct. That's what I'm thinking. That they somehow got it, or they got the streaming rights to it, so they put their gimmick in front. Who knows? It's a complex world with rights and whatnot. This is a much less complex world because it's just about underground people and above ground people. And
there's also, I think I text you this, Brain. If they made this movie today, or not today, but in early 2010s, it 1,000% would have been a dystopian YA movie like Maze Runner or
The 100.
Divergent, whatever. Like the idea of like putting in the groups of like trackers and guards and the daughter of the guy who created it, and the post-apocalyptic wasteland, and the realizing that your enemies are your friends and things aren't as they seem. It was all very 2010s YA stuff.
Why don't you, not to put you on the spot, but I'd like to do that to people on this program, give us your cast. Who would be in the cast if that was the case?
Oh man,
at least a few characters.
Yeah, it's hard to not just pull from the existing YA people at the time, but
I would think that Paul White would be the giant.
That would have worked. Or any, I don't know. He was still kind of lumbering in the early 2010s. I guess it would have worked. But I would think
Knucklehead was like 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have pulled from some of the Disney stars at the time that were trying to break out, like a Dylan Prowse or something, maybe as like the guy. I'd have to think about who I'd cast as the girl, but something like a Jennifer Lawrence type. Obviously, she was Katniss, so she couldn't be. She could maybe do another one, but your Tom Holland,
like a Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah, I guess it would have been that time. That would have worked.
It sounds like you have a what if.
I got some more.
TC 2000 was a
2000
was a YA movie in the early 2010s.
Yeah, seems like you have a project you can work on while you wait for your air conditioning to be fixed.
There you go.
We've got
probably not, because my brain is not functioning on a high level right now. It's fighting for oxygen.
Sometimes that's when the best ideas can come. You might have a heat hallucination.
Right, as I say, right before I pass out.
Let's talk about Billy Blanks, who has provided the narration, and he is basically the star of the movie, especially if you look at the cover. He plays Jason Storm. I don't see Billy as a guy who'd have the first name Jason. Am I wrong there?
No, I guess it's probably attached to the script before they casted the character, one of those things. And we've talked about it before with some of these movies where the nationalities don't quite line up with the names. So probably one of those instances.
And then
I just immediately think of Lance Storm. I think of the pro wrestling names. Like, what would a Jason Storm look like?
Right. Because that sounds too close to... Maybe it's because it sounds too close to Jason Bourne. And Billy Blanks does not look like Jason Bourne.
I kept thinking of Jackson Storm from Cars 3.
Okay, I've never seen any of those films because I'm old. And
see, if it's the future, maybe it should have been a more exotic name, like like Dante Storm.
Or maybe if it was like Jackson Storm with an X.
Or 2 X's.
Ooh, yeah.
We're in the future now.
Yeah, that's true. Well, his rookie partner is Zoe Kinsella, played by Bobby Phillips, who played Helen Lewinsky in Back in Action.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe's father, as you mentioned, Ryan, helped create the whole underworld. So she's like underworld royalty, but she's still just doing her part and being a tracker.
Real salt of the earth stuff there.
Yeah. So they get done with their tour of duty, and they cross paths with the night shift guys.
I like the little laser effect as they cross the barriers. And just to get into like one thing I really appreciated about this movie is obviously they have budget constraints, but the way that they found unique ways and items that kind of look futuristic and maybe a little kind of kit bashed together, like their helmets are just welder masks. When they cross the impenetrable barrier, it's like a fogged laser field, like with just like a laser light that they cross through. Pretty cheap to achieve. Later they got like boxing padded helmets, but with like some just shit on them to make them look like cameras and stuff. So like the movie does a good job of giving like a future aesthetic that doesn't look, just borders the line of being corny, but also being kind of creative, and I appreciate it.
And the night guys, they do not have a good night at all because they're like instantly attacked. So a warning goes out. So now Jason and Zoe, who were just about to call it a night, have to get back out there. But wait a minute, two of the surface dwellers have broken in. The breakers have made it into the underworld, and they are headed for the food storage area. So Jason and Zoe decide to split up after the breakers do, and Zoe chooses the big guy. She's going to go after him. She's not scared.
Nah, she calls it right out. She's like, I got the big guy.
And that frees up Jason to take on the guy who also knows martial arts. So we get a nice little martial arts battle, Chris. Which is, I mean, if you're going to have Billy Blanks, use him.
True, but if we're gonna have a group called the Breakers, I'm disappointed that it wasn't Ozone and Turbo from one of our favorite canon films. But I did appreciate the little neon touch that made them look like a preliminary team on AWA wrestling.
Oh, I love me some AWA wrestling and the mysteries that I'm finding solutions to. But yeah, we get the nice battle, two battles going on at once. They're victorious. They got to report in with Sparks at the control center, who's like, "Oh, the controller needs to see you."
Sparks kind of the early prototype for like the NCIS, like pale girl, dark hair, nice, edgy computer chick.
Yeah, she's
Sparks
good.
kind of ahead of the game there.
She was good. And controller, who reminded me of like a, he kind of had a Magnum TA look to him.
I thought the same thing, but I want to point something out as him, which spoiler alert here.
Okay.
So Zach watched this movie with me. It was his first time watching it in full, and literally within seconds of the controller appearing on screen, he goes, "He's evil. He's the bad guy."
Yeah.
Just like immediately, and I'm like, "What makes you say that?" He's like, "Look at him. He's like, I can tell he's the bad guy." Yeah. Maybe it was the mustache.
I thought you were about to say, but that's probably more of a Ryan Campbell thing to say that he's looked like Magnum TA, but he could walk. But listen now, the controller did. Yeah, I mean, there was no. He may as well have worn a sign that said, "Hi, I'm evil," but he did not. But he did have that mustache.
In Act 3.
So he's like, hey, they use dead bodies of your fellow coworkers to get inside.
Which I feel like it's probably something they should have thought of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If we're brainstorming ways that somebody could sneak in, that would probably have been way one.
Right.
You just throw them on their back and run through.
And then we meet Dr. Cameron Johnson, who is heading up the new cybernetic tracker initiative known as TC2000X.
So he's the one where I instantly went, oh yeah, he's definitely a sleazeball. Like he looks like the little schmarmy,
little wormy guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that fuck.
Oh, so Jason and Zoe's job security is out the window. But I want to ask you gentlemen this. Do you think this movie was originally supposed to be titled TC2000X, and then they realized after they were getting it, after everything was filmed and ready to go, they're like, why the hell we have that extra X there?
Did they maybe think people would mistake it for an adult film?
Or did they think that people would think there was TC 2001 through 9 and the X was a 10?
Or like Jason X, which didn't come out until 7 years after this.
Right.
I thought it was very clearly trying to go for some Terminator vibes with the font
and Billy Blanks looking like the Black Terminator on the cover,
and the TC-1000.
Right.
Terminator.
Well, don't forget, this was originally supposed to be like Tiger Claws 2.
Oh,
and then it got all twisted around in production. So it was supposed to be
the TC?
successor to that. So I don't know if the whole TC2000X was to kind of differentiate the character from the title or where the series was going.
Ah, interesting.
Well,
sounds like another deep dive mystery.
Yeah, you guys have so much work on your plate right now. Ryan Campbell's got to do a what if. Toyman's got to find out the behind the scenes of all this. So yeah, they're going to have these cybernetic trackers. Then we meet the controller's right-hand man, Bigelow, played by Matthias Hughes. Ryan Campbell.
Now that's a great heel name.
It is. Ryan Campbell, where have we seen Matthias Hughes before?
Oh, it was recently. It would have been, what was that? There's another movie that had multiple names. The futuristic one. Was it Dark Angel? He's like an alien.
Yeah, he is. He is in that one. We didn't cover it recently, but that's fine. You got it right, and you already had mentioned you're going to be on vacation. I was waiting to trip you up so I could do one of those suspensions again, like I did the last time.
Oh, go ahead.
When I knew you were going to be out of town, so I just got pissed off and suspended you for 1 week. But you already had. You got the answer right. He is in Dark Angel. Also, I Come in Peace is the alternate name there.
Yeah, we watched that. We covered that not too long ago, right? Jeez, how long was that? That's probably like a year. That's actually.
No, that was a long. Were you even on that?
That was long because I wasn't on that.
That. I remember watching it for.
Was that the one you were on? Yeah, I think you were on that one. I don't remember, but that was
I only know because I did look it up preliminary when I was watching the movie, and I knew I saw him in something we've covered recently. So
were you on the Mission of Justice episode we did? Because he's in there.
I don't think it was.
I don't think you were.
Was he on the Black Belt episode?
No, he wasn't.
No,
that was me and you.
Yeah. I don't remember. We do so many of these, but I do know that Dark Angel was like freaking year. Like that was like maybe the first year or second year of the podcast.
No, I did Mission of Justice. I was on Mission of Justice.
There you go.
And that was more recently. That makes sense.
That one. That's the one I was expecting you to say.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all right. I'm sure everyone's thrilled about this whole situation. Anyway, Bigelow. Everyone's just like fascinated, I'm sure, as we try to figure out who was on what episode. You know who was on?
Yeah.
You know who's on the episode? I was. I'll raise my hand.
Almost guaranteed. Yes.
100% guaranteed I was on that episode. Bigelow, not to be confused with Bam Bam Bigelow or the One Man Gang.
And One Man. Well, what about Bam Bam Bigelow and One Man Gang?
No, not them either. But listen, we learned that this was a rivalry. Or that there is a rivalry between the trackers and the guards.
Of course there is.
And there's only one way you settle this rivalry, and that's in the gym.
Dun dun dun. Where actually nothing is settled.
No, but yet Jason claims I taught him a lesson, but it's one of those, it was one of those fights where they both could probably say, yeah, I kicked his ass. Because, they get interrupted because I don't remember why. Did something happen? Did they have to go back to work or something?
Go back to work because I think another attack was happening or something was happening.
I will say I did appreciate, and I did not remember this spot, but I don't think I've ever seen it done in wrestling, so someone should try it, is Billy Blanks' reversal of a German suplex by ducking down and doing a split and sliding out of it.
I think that's probably because not too many guys could do the splits.
I'm sure we could get one of the cruiserweight types, one of the AEW guys to try that one.
Well,
stop doing 10 million super kicks and throw a different spot in sometimes.
They would just do it after they no-sold a Destroyer or something.
Correct.
Everyone no-sells the Destroyer. The Destroyer is the new DDT.
That's a shame. That's like
it is
damn shame. So afterwards, Jason and Zoe are hanging out at Jason's place. And Zoe's like, there's something with that controller. There's something going on, and I want answers.
Yeah.
So she leaves, and lets Jason have his dinner to himself. And now we go up to the surface, and we meet another character, Master Sumai, played by the one and the only, the legendary Bolo Young, who we get to see for the first time. And not surprisingly, Chris, we get to see him kicking somebody's ass.
Yes, and as is, a lot of people remember Bolo from being a great movie villain for Bruce Lee, Jean-Claude Van Damme several times, obviously Bloodsport, Double Impact. But much like the Shoot Fighter films, Shoot Fighter 1 and 2, shout out to our friend Paul London, sorry about Shoot Fighter 2, Bolo is playing a good guy here. He's one of the baby faces.
He is, and he has a very distracting hairline in this film for me. I kept noticing it, and I think he shaved a little bit of the front of it, so it was like a line.
Maybe he was trying to make it look like rougher on the surface
Yeah,
world.
just like us. Yeah, I didn't care for
he's
it.
got like that where like the peak or the front,
Right,
whatever you
the
want to say.
peak.
You can
Yes,
see it was like
that's like
buzzed down.
shaved. Yeah,
Yep.
it was very distracting. Maybe I didn't notice it before, but I noticed it very well with the beautiful crystal clear Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray.
Speaking of, B movies and JCVD, did you guys see the in-universe Johnny Cage trailer they released for Mortal
Oh,
Kombat
I
2?
sure did.
That
I
was very
did see
cool.
that.
It gave me
Looks very good.
we would have covered all those movies and that they were showing there.
Mm-hmm. It looks very good. I'm excited for the whole thing. I still have to see the Mortal Kombat they did a couple years ago. I know
It was
Chris.
good. I kind of go watching that trailer didn't make me realize I need to go back and watch it, but it was one of those COVID HBO Max direct releases.
Right.
It was good.
Paul London's a huge fan of that movie, and he's also very excited about the sequel. So that may be we might be able to put my thinking cap on. That might be a special one if multiple of us see it. After we meet Master Sumai, we also meet the bad guys of the surface world, the Picassos.
What a lovely bunch of
painted
scrappy
faces.
Yeah, and they all got that kind of side character, like goofy, no talking lines, but kind of eating up the scenery kind of vibe to them. I like it.
Nicky Picasso, played by Jalal Mary, who's one of the producers of this film, and we will see that come into play a little bit. We haven't gotten into the world of Jalal Mary, Chris. This is our first one. Kind of an interesting set of movies that he was involved with. Almost a bit like Alexander Nevsky is kind of followed a bit in the Marie path, where they get the money some way or another, and so they obviously put themselves in key roles.
Yeah, it's basically, hey, I'm the one shopping this around. I'm the one searching for the money, so I'm going to get some form of credit for it. And for Jalal, he usually made himself the leading man, or at least the co-star. I
Right.
will say that, he is not my favorite of the 80s and 90s, most well-known batch of martial arts actors, but he managed to star in a lot of my favorite films. Spoiler, I enjoyed this film here, but Talons of the Eagle, also with Billy Blanks, another
Mm-hmm.
favorite of mine. And, we mentioned it earlier, but the original Tiger Claws, which did have a trilogy, but the original with Cynthia Rothrock and Bolo Young, another favorite of mine. So he did manage to insert himself in some pretty notable films, but I always felt that he was kind of dull compared to people like Billy
Yes.
Blanks, Don Wilson, Matthias Hughes, Cynthia Rothrock.
Whoa!
So I think, uh-oh,
Whoa!
what was the oh for?
Whoa! He's dull compared to Don the Dragon Wilson. Ouch!
I
Burn.
well, I think
Because what
I
a
think that
ball of charisma the dragon is, huh?
I love the dragon,
I know
and I
you
think
do.
I'm not trying to sound biased. I think it depended on the role that the dragon had, and
Yes.
maybe that's why I love Blood Fist 3 so much, because he's just a down on his luck, downtrodden guy in prison, so that kind of suits the vibe or whatever. But I
I
think
like
that
when he plays a
Jalal,
doctor. It's very
when he plays
believable.
what?
A doctor. It's very believable.
Ring of Fire 3, Lion Strike, I get the DVD signed. I think Jalal did probably his best role here as the bad guy, because
Yeah.
to Ryan's point, he kind of got to, chew the scenery a little bit. He kind of had, the gimmick with the face paint. Like he stood out a little bit more than he does when he's just, the badass detective.
That's what I'm hoping Nevsky will do. I want Nevsky to play the bad guy in one of his movies.
Were they trying to play it off like they were like set up as their base was the Louvre? Did anyone else get that vibe?
Oh yeah.
Because they got that like triangle or that pyramid window that thing that's like
Mm-hmm.
above their table, which was giving off like Louvre vibes, and I didn't know if they were trying to just
If
matching
I
it or if that was intentional or not, because they're the Picassos and they got a thing with art and everything, and I don't know. I mean, it's a
If
connection
I
they made.
remember correctly from my TC 2000 history, I believe the headquarters was like a public works building or something. So it's
somewhere in
I kind of
Canada.
think of that. I kind of think of Time Chasers that Mystery Science Theater did when the guy's office was clearly in like the beginning of the public library.
The mezzanine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Please get out of your mezzanine, sir. Yeah. Uh, I mean, I think it's maybe just a coincidence, but if not, I mean, it was a smart choice. Because it, as you said, Ryan, it goes along with the whole art and Picasso motif. Um, and the Picassos, they're not just up there to draw on their faces. They have a grand plan to conquer the underworld. And it all starts with a single Molotov cocktail.
Perfect. But why? I mean, I guess that is where the money and the power is. But like, you literally have the entire surface of the planet that's restoring itself to take over.
But did they know it's restoring itself?
I mean, I would imagine they could see it. Like, would they not be able to sense things were getting a little bit better? You see people in this movie just running around outside, and no one's like struggling for air or dying.
I think you're finding a plot hole or three. There's a security breach after this Molotov cocktail, so that gets Jason out of bed, and he's got to get going. Jason and Zoe then are going after the Picassos, who have now breached in. They're inside. They're going through this freaking hallways with pipes. Hallways with pipes. But then it's like, oh, there's a dead end, and it appears to be a dead end, but it really is not.
It's like the King of the Ring. Throw Kurt Angle through it.
Yeah, they go right in. But how, Chris? How would they know that wasn't a dead end? They don't even go here.
I think it's an inside job. That's what I think. It was very video game-ish. It's like find the spot on the wall that you have to break through to get to the next level. But and everyone's walking around with their T-Mobile sidekicks about 15 years before they were released, and someone's dropping some info to the Picassos.
You gotta love it when a movie is both ahead of its time, but also behind the times.
Right, because 2020, that was not a thing.
No, but they also predicted sidekicks early before they were,
Right. So they would have just lowered that time. They would have been like, oh shit, they were right on it.
It is kind of funny how optimistic people were of the future back then, where now if we make a movie that's futuristic, we gotta be like, the year is 2243, because
right.
Back then they weren't like, no, yeah, in 20 years we'll have flying cars, right?
No. So yeah, now they're in this restricted quadrant that's not even on the maps, but they're like, well, we got to go for it, and they're calling for backup, but it's not looking good for Zoe and for Jason, and it looks even worse when a mysterious gunman from the grassy knoll shoots Zoe.
And it looks like a pistol, not like a machine gun or a dirty, scuzzy surface gun.
One single bullet.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Like a very pristine, clean pistol from the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And all we see is the hand emerge from the shadows. Like for all we know, she just got murdered by Thing from the Addams Family.
Or it was the controller.
Was it?
No way. I would not have seen that coming.
I don't know. I mean, they're lurking in the shadows, some shady dealings in the shadows.
Zoe is shot and she's dying in the arms of her partner, who's, you lied to me. You said we would be partners forever, which
kind of a weird time to get upset at her about it. I don't think she had a choice in the matter.
No, she's upset at him. He told her they'd be partners forever, and now she's dying. And she's the one breaking the partnership, not him. But that's a dumb thing to believe. I mean, you're a grown-ass woman. You're not going to live forever, and neither is he.
In a post-apocalyptic world, you both could die at any day. You're likely to die every
Yeah, you're in a dangerous job.
The world got poisoned. Like, you're trying to, like, just, barely make it to the next day, and she wants to be an immortal.
Give me a break. Well, the Picassos run off.
She's going to take one giant step towards that here in a little bit.
Oh, spoiler alert. The Picassos run off, And yes, Dead Zoe is going to become the prototype for the TC-2000X program.
Did we ever find out what the Picassos were in there for? Why they were trying to find that hidden area?
No, I don't think so.
He got the weapons cache. That's
Oh, see,
he got like
Toyman knows all
what was it?
about
It
it.
was like the Uzi or whatever, or the
Oh
AK-47, I
yeah,
forget.
that's true. Yeah, because they need the weapons so they can assault the terminal station. That makes
Gotcha.
Yep.
sense.
Okay.
Thanks, Toyman.
You're
Um,
welcome.
finally, you provide something.
Something
Dead.
of substance that doesn't involve Barry Chan.
Ah, fuck. God damn it. Controller mentions. Well, that's not what the Overlord had in mind, but what the heck? I got a mustache. Anyway, um, let's go up to. Oh, we go back up to the surface world, and boy, do we go up to the surface world
Let's go.
because it's Master Sumai versus the Giant.
The man himself, the man, the myth, the legend of 2025 Bulletproof action. The giant, the Canadian giant, Gary Robbins,
Oh,
in his full-on Mad Max gear.
no way,
No,
man.
it's his demolition gear.
It's his Demolition
That's true,
Hux
yeah.
gear. I was like, at first I'm like, he was a demolition guy, wasn't he? Or was he
Yeah.
good friends with Richard Sharland and he borrowed his, no, that's right. I looked him back up. I'm like, no, that's right. He was Demolition Hux, which
Yeah, he
I
had
still
yeah,
don't know what
apparently
that
the
means.
Huxtable family had a demolition member.
I don't know what that
Um,
means. Axe, smash, crush, blast, and Hux.
Was
What
it like
the?
one of those like limited runs where they were in Canada and
Yeah.
had to bring in their the Demolition's Canadian cousin Hux?
well, that's probably when like Axe was like, Axis the Demolisher. Like he had to
Mhm.
tweak it ever so much.
Mhm.
And they were probably like, hey, like maybe Hux was just like his like how they called Sandman Hack, because apparently Hack was his nickname in real life, and they were just like, all
Right.
right, well, we can't think of anything, so you're hardcore Hack now.
Um. Yeah. Or was it Demolition Hux and Demolition Blast? Were they the Canadian Demolition? I, I'm gonna have to dig deep. That's my homework
There
assignment.
you go.
But we get to see Giant put Sumai through a table, and then Sumai like gets back up. He gets on the Giant's shoulders, and he's just like bashing him in the head. Man, this was worth the Vinegar Syndrome purchase. I'll tell you that right now.
This was a bulletproof dream match based on all of our 2025 podcasts. We've been
Yeah.
hyping up Gary Robbins, Bolo. We all love Bolo.
Mm-hmm.
This was a dream
And
match for
a
us.
good close. We've talked about this in past few weeks. The kind of those hard hitting close quarters action scenes where it's just like just blow after blow. This definitely delivered on all that.
Right. Yeah, this was good. This was at this point the highlight of the movie for me. I was very excited.
I mean, Gary in that gear, he pretty much looked like the level 2 villain in a 80s action game.
Right.
He looked like the type of dude that you'd be fighting on Bad Dudes or Streets of Rage or something.
Yeah. And
I
I'm going
think
to tell you, go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna say he definitely looked much bigger in this movie than what was the other which was the other Billy Blanks
Back in
movie
action.
of the two we did. Yeah, Back in Action. He looked. I think he looked bigger. He looked more muscular in this one than he did in Back to Action. He was looking good.
Probably the outfit.
And you've got to think that
pancakes.
Bolo usually looks like the intimidating force, and he was diminutive compared to Gary Robbins here.
Probably because of the hair.
He had to shave some height off to fight Gary Robbins.
Yeah. Or maybe it was like Samson getting his hair. I don't know.
That's why he needed the little kid to help super kick Gary Robbins through the woodshed.
Right. You've mentioned several times video game, how this is a very video game. I mean, Jalal Murray had a lot of movies that had like that video game CD-ROM game type feel to him. So he may have been really into that world and influenced by it. I'm wondering if Jalal Murray is a gamer.
I think it was just that 90s aesthetic, obviously this being futuristic, and then the way that the original Tiger Claws trilogy went, it kind of became a little supernatural. I think it was just throwing a lot of that 90s vibe against the wall to see what sticks. It's like, all right, Tiger Claws 1, we're going to do the, straight up cop serial killer movie. Talons of the Eagle, all right, we're going to do the, criminal underworld thing, cops going undercover. Oh, TC 2000, we're going to go in the future and have these communicators and laser blockades and cyborgs and all this stuff. So it's almost like he took a little bit of everything and it was just like, what's going to hit? Like, where's my breakthrough going to come?
Well, not just that, and this movie has a ton of style. And in, like you mentioned, Brain, there's some first person shots, which was not something we saw a lot of at this time. We've got shots from the perspective with like that heads up display when they're kind of tracking the breakers. We get some infrared splash over. There's even like a shot where we get like almost like in the recent Bad Boys movie where we're like flipped backwards from the gun point of view at our characters moving down those narrow hallways, which isn't something you got a lot of at this time. So there's some really cool stylistic choices with some of the shots in this movie that kind of, like you said, bring up video game vibes or kind of that feel.
Mm-hmm. We'll go back to Jason, who is finding out that Zoe was right about there being something fishy going on, and that the Picassos had help from the inside. But before he can dig any deeper, he does have to attend Zoe's funeral. Afterwards, the controller offers his sympathy, and Jason's like, hey, can I see her one more time? And nope, her body belongs to the security commission now.
Asshole.
And Jason not happy about it. And he's like, if you don't like it, you can go get deprogrammed immediately. So
that sympathy did not go very far.
Right. So Jason's like, fine, I'll go get deprogrammed. I don't give a shit. And the controller gives Dr. Cameron the Iggy. But Cameron, while he is a bit of a worm, I guess he has some sort of ethics because he could not bring himself to kill Jason during that whole process where he would have obviously been free to do so.
He's just a coward. He can do it from behind the screen, but he can't do it with. Right. He can't get his hands dirty in the muck.
I think you're right there. So since Cameron was useless, the controller sends Bigelow and the boys to Jason's place to take care of him, and they attack him, and his place just gets fucking trashed during this fight. But Jason, and this is one thing I liked, he gets in this air duct. But it's a tight squeeze, unlike a lot of these air ducts in these movies where it's like you could drive a car through it. He's struggling to get in and out of this thing, which that was a nice thing there.
Especially when you're thinking that we're underground, where like space is minimum. They're not gonna carve out a 10-foot wide area when a 2-foot wide area will do. So everything should feel very tight quarters.
We need room for all those pipes. So now Jason is a fugitive, and he finds himself up on the surface world, just wandering about. And the trackers have been told, hey, he's a defector, and he was responsible for Zoe's death. That fucking controller and his lies. He's controlling shit. He's controlling information.
Controlling the narrative.
Oh, you're right, EC3. Listen, Jason is then confronted by a rat-faced bastard and his two buddies, including Nunchaku Man, who was probably my favorite random side character not named Gary Robbins.
Fellow Chucker, eh?
And so we get that, and again, it's a chance for more Billy Blank's martial arts, which I would say is much better use of him than being a narrator. Let's see. Oh,
I do like when they put martial arts as a substitute for weaponries in these kinds of movies because it makes sense. My guess is guns are a hot commodity that they're not making more bullets, or like every time you fire a shot, that's it. They're not, there's not a factory down the street making more bullets. So the idea of learning martial arts, especially in the close quarters we've talked about, like it makes sense. Like it's a viable strategy here for crowd control and for law enforcement.
We get a big press conference in the underworld unveiling the TC-2000X. And it is, in fact, Zoe in her all-new look, looking better than ever, I'd say.
Yeah, props to the movie, because my first thought as I was watching it was, why in the world would they choose that outfit? But it makes sense here a little bit, I guess.
She
And the
looked like one
press,
of the misfits from Gem and the Holograms,
yeah, you're
with
right.
a lot of backflips,
And
lot of gymnastics.
yeah, she does a whole demonstration. The press are eating it up.
Oh, doesn't somebody in the crowd say "Hold my hand" or something? I
I,
do love. So this movie has a ton of ADR. My guess is it's probably very expensive on set to hire somebody to hold boom mics, and then you got to get the audio, and then everyone's moving around doing martial arts. It probably is hard to get audio, so they just said, "Screw it, we're just going to dub all the lines later." But it doesn't mean you get a lot of really fantastic little side comments from the
yes.
crowd that are like, "Hey, what's going on? Oh, over here, over here." And I'm pretty sure someone's like, "Come hold my hand." Like it just, or even the villains later that are in the when they're getting, he's kicking ass. You hear somebody be like, "Oh my god!" There's a great like should have replaced the Wilhelm scream at one point where someone gets lit on fire and is like, "Ah!" Like it's just great. Some great ADR in this movie.
So yeah, the press again eating it up. They start taking pictures. There's still flashes in 2020, but these flashes are like sparking some sort of flashback in Zoe's mind, just a little bit. Like, oh, she remembers because they did point that out earlier. They're not going to be able to erase her memory.
So she's immediately defective.
Right.
Like as soon as we see her debut, we see that she's not totally
Right.
overwhelmed by this programming.
So now we go back up to the surface world. Now, Jason was just kind of in the outskirts. Now he's like in the bustling center of town up there. There's people everywhere. There's a guy promoting street fights, and that's, of course, where we get to once again see Master Sumai, who's not surprisingly the reigning champion, and he's got a challenger who's ready to dethrone him, and the winner gets a bag of water.
Yeah, it looks like when you win a goldfish at the state
Yes.
fair.
There was no fish in there. It was just a bag of water.
That's some clear water, though. Some artisan water.
It was beautiful, yeah. Crystal clear. But then like a little alarm goes off and everyone's like, oh shit, the trackers are coming. And here come the trackers. The fight has no conclusion, much like the earlier one between Bigelow and Jason. Place all clears out, except obviously Jason's like, where's everybody going? What the fuck's going on? And here come the trackers and they zap his ass. Because again, they believe he's a defector and he's killed his own partner. So they're ready to take him in. But fortunately, Sumai is there and he helps out and takes Jason out of harm's way. We cut to the Picasso headquarters. And Nikki's like, oh, I want this TC2000X. And then immediately invites her to join up with the Picassos. And she's like, I thought you'd never ask. And then they start making out. Not somewhere close. If not right here, it's not very long. And that's where I'm like, and this is why you become a movie producer, folks.
This is the exact
And I like
reason
that
why.
the woman that she beat up, I mean, you probably will not remember this reference, but she looks like the female villain in the Garbage Pail Kids movie. She looks like the
Yeah.
big gang dude's girlfriend or whatever she was supposed to
I've never
be.
seen that movie, so no, I don't remember it.
Well, you should. And at this point, because the Picassos keep painting their faces in different ways, Jalal Mary, at this point, his face looks like Patrick Kilpatrick in the original Toxic Avenger.
A trauma film.
A trauma film, exactly. Bringing it back to the beginning of the
Oh.
thing.
Mm-hmm. One that we might cover ahead of the new one coming out. That's coming out later this year, is it not?
It is.
August. August? Really? Oh, I thought it was later. I thought it was. Well, we'll cover the other one later. All right.
Back to Toxic School Week.
Perhaps. So yeah, they're in there. Sumei takes Jason back. Sumei's daughter's there. And he's like, hey, why haven't you gotten some fighters together and just gone after these Picassos?
Hey, thanks for saving my life. Now I'm just going to just be an ass here and call you out.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, even Sumei's daughter is like, you're kind of pushing it, buddy. And they bring up this damn terminal station, and next thing you know, TC2000's like, "Hey,
Oh, this terminal station, Brain. This is a happening place.
right? I need you to get your army to get me to terminal station. Terminal station. Blah blah
Everybody
blah."
wants terminal station.
Yeah, so I was really expecting a lot when they got to terminal station. I'll just say that. Um, Back to Jason, who convinces, "Hey, let's go to the Picasso headquarters, and we'll go during the day because no one would go during the day."
No, think about that.
And they do some he's lowering him down on the rope, and he gets in there, and Nikki was busy.
Little early Mission Impossible stuff,
Right, he was there, busy getting a new 45 record on his player there.
When it's broken, you've got to spin it yourself.
Yeah, you got to spin it yourself, right? Um, Post-apocalyptic record player. Because I guess that was about, when did vinyl start making a comeback? It was prior to 2020.
Yeah, I would say probably like 2015, 2016, about 10
Yeah.
years ago.
So there you go. There you go. They got that right. Jason then reunites with his partner forever. Not friends forever, like Saved by the Bell. He's reunited with Zoe, but in a very painful way, Ryan Campbell.
Yeah, as they tend to say now in modern day WWE, Zoe went low.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Michael Cole always says now. Is they went low, which is a nice way for saying kicked in the balls.
Right, and then she tosses him over the table, and he won't fight her, but she will gladly beat the shit out of him. He's trying to reason with her, and eventually she just ejects him from the building. Just tosses his ass out. Sumai once again there to pick up the pieces, take them back, let them rest up. And then they're like, if Nikki and TC get to the terminal station, goodbye, surface world. Kiss it goodbye. This fucking terminal station. Now we go back to the underworld.
Why does Underworld want to stop Surface World?
They don't want them to thrive because
Right.
all the elite are down there.
Why didn't they just kill him to begin with?
Why don't they just go back to the surface? Just because they want to keep the little grasp of control? Do they feel like if they go to the surface, people will start spreading back over the face of the earth and they lose their control or something, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's like how people are looking down at us right now from their ivory towers.
Yeah,
in
don't
PC2000,
fuck
they
with
were
the
looking
status
up at them.
quo.
Bastards. Cameron programmed this whole TC2000 to love Nikki, which again seems like something that maybe Jalal Mary used his power for. The controller's like, the Overlord's not going to be happy about this, and
stupid Overlord.
I started feeling like maybe I was the Overlord because I wasn't happy about it either.
Maybe the Overlord is the friends you made along the way.
Perhaps. Then we get what appeared to be a training montage, but you could also have looked at it as an interpretive dance of some sort. Chris, it reminded me a lot of those Sho Kasugi openings. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what do you want to say? That like almost like a kata, like the forms.
Mm-hmm.
But interpretive dance is another way that you could say it, but not much motion,
No.
not much not really vibe in there. Very, very slow motion. It's we're used to the montages, we're used to kind of like getting hype and having the killer theme song and something that's whether it pumps you up or you kind of chuckle at it. And this is just kind of like it was almost like they filmed Billy Blanks and Bolo doing their stretches before the scene.
Yeah. We do get to see Sumai do his best Gallagher impersonation. Does everybody enjoy that reference?
I can't imagine.
I enjoyed that. Remind me to send you guys, since you made a Gallagher reference, if you want some hilarity, it's an old Opie and Anthony clip. It is on YouTube of when Patrice O'Neill was on the show and they confronted Gallagher about kind of being old and out of touch. And it boiled down to where Gallagher thought he was being accused of being a racist.
Hmm.
But it was some pretty
I
hysterical radio from
I
back in the
need
day.
to see that.
All right. Well, I'm sure he'll send it to you. Whatever it is, I'm sure he'll serve it to. All right. Listen, we're not talking about that. Get some history. We get some history on the terminal station. Sumai worked with Zoe's father on it.
So Bolo's a scientist.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, if Don Wilson could be a surgeon, Bolo could be a scientist.
Or dragon.
But how do we open this thing? Only Zoe's father knew. But then Jason's like, oh, wait a minute. She used to have that necklace that her father gave her and said, never lose this.
It's always the damn
Which
necklace.
was literally
on
a
the
key. The necklace was literally a key. Like
Right.
nothing in disguise. Like,
Not like a pendant that has some sort coded to her DNA, just a literal key.
But it had that hand like key chain or charm on it. So that's the key, we'll find out. But anyway, we go back to training after we got that little bit of
that was the
history.
disguise, that it was a hand holding a key.
Yeah.
They just went the extra mile instead of having a key around her neck. Oh, by the way, here's like a
It's just
fucking
more
3-inch
instructions.
hand
Yeah.
that's
Right.
holding this key. Yeah.
Hold it in your hand.
They get back to training. And while they're doing that, Nikki and Zoe are just doing recon on Terminal Station. This fucking Terminal Station. Anyway, we go back to the underworld, and
It's the hottest station since Toshi Station with those
Right,
power
yeah.
converters.
Jesus. Cameron E had to take a dump, and he gets yelled at for leaving his post, and then he gets killed.
That's a costly dump.
Indeed.
At least there's nothing left to void his bowels when he died.
Hopefully. The controller then, he's got that necklace. He had the necklace in his hand, so he took that away. Now Jason and Sumai are planning their attack. And they go get some fighters, and Jason gives a rah-rah speech. And two of the guys who are volunteering are the two guys he dealt with early on that were trying to get the food. So he's like, oh, I know these guys are good.
I'll vouch for them.
Mm-hmm. And but one of the others was like, I should be the leader of this whole thing, not this old ass Sumai. But he doesn't feel that way for much longer because Sumai kicks his ass.
That's right. You
so
gotta
now
put those challenges down.
Right. Now we got an army training montage of sorts, which takes us back down to the underworld where the Overlord's like, hey, we got this brand new TC-2000X. Why isn't she like protecting my area, my quadrant? And Controller and Bigelow are like, fuck you, and they just kill him.
Which is weird
Now,
because the
how
controller
about
is.
the fact... Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say the controller's been in fear of the Overlord.
Right.
He's Overlord's like, I like that Overlord. And then he's just going to kill him anyway. So either this wasn't in the plan, it was just an opportunistic opening, or I don't know. Because he seemed to be in fear of him, and then he did not seem to be in any fear at all whatsoever in this scene.
No.
Well, never mind that. These guys are hunting Jason Storm because he, quote unquote, killed his partner, except his fucking partner is walking among them again. So why weren't they like, wait a minute, she's alive, she's fine, we're good, right?
Yeah. I will, this movie started losing me. I will. There's stuff I enjoyed, and then it was like, none of this makes any sense if I think about it, even just for a second.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. It had a really solid first two acts, and then it just kind of like loses the plot. I kind of compared it to like you ever had those like really good like SNL skits, but then they just don't know how to end it, and they thought of like the premise and the setup, and then like no one really thought of how to finish it. And that's how I get that kind of sense in this movie.
It's like every week on this show. But anyway.
Stay tuned for more.
That's right. Just come back because the beginning's usually pretty good. Actually, no. But we're glad you're here. So the Picasso's attack on the terminal station has begun. So it's these lifers who guard this, I guess, with their life. And it's a big battle. And so, all right, business is picking up. And Jason and Sumai and their people are there watching from afar. They're just like, let's let this go. Let's let them deal with each other, and then when it's our time, we'll strike. The Picasso army is victorious, and now it's like, okay, well, we just got to wait for the controller because he's got the key. And then we get this bizarre, get on your knees, Zoe.
Yeah, the controller is very kind of sexual and weird. Like, he has the part where he accuses the dude of like putting his hands all over her body when he was reprogramming her and everything. He
was like accusing him of necrophilia.
Yeah, he took the role a little serious in some of this stuff.
And from what quick glance when I was like trying to see if he was related to Magnum TA, I think this is the only movie he ever did. I think he really was just a controller from the underworld.
He was born to play this role, is what you're saying?
Yeah. But yeah, he says, get on your knees, Zoe. You were much shorter when Daddy built this. Oh, God, that just saying those words made me feel dirty. I'm going to shower right after this. But her hand, it's not even the key. She just has to put her hand on the thing. Just like the key change.
But Brain, let me tell you, this station, we've been building it up. We've been hyping it up.
Yeah.
What is going to be beyond this door? It's going to be like some sort of like alien structure or some bunker of scientific innovation.
No.
And you open that door and it's just more fucking pipes.
I'm pretty sure I saw Mick Foley having a fucking boiler room match down in the corner somewhere.
Right. And it just pipes and well-lit hallways. And then Jason says, attention, Christmas shoppers, the store is now closing.
Would that reference have meant anything to those people? How long has the earth been torn asunder?
Did he think like everybody was going to be saying that after that? I don't. Anyway, so now it's time we get.
Maybe it was like a popular catchphrase in like 2015
Toronto
in this movie. Yeah.
Well, now you got to say attention, holiday season shoppers.
So you're right. See, they would have had that wrong.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Can't say Christmas anymore.
All right. God help me. So yeah, we get the Jason and Sumai, and they're fighting the Picasso people, but Zoe, the controller, and Nikki need to make their way up to the kill zone. What?
Why would you name it that?
It doesn't sound like a place you'd want to go.
No. It sounds like like a fun trampoline park you take your kids to if you really don't like them.
Okay, kids, we can go to Disney or the Kill Zone. It's your choice.
I got these tickets on Groupon to go to Kill Zone.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But one of the good things we do get here is Sumai versus Bigelow.
That's a good one. It's a good matchup. That's a dream match.
And we find out these two know each other from the past, and we now pretty much know one of them won't have a future once this is all said and done.
Would you have rather seen Billy Blanks take down Bigelow, or are you okay with it being Sumai? Or seems like is he truly done with him after he beat him in that sparring session?
Yeah, he felt he beat him.
He's like, I got nothing left for you. Get him, Sumai.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, where else are we gonna see Bolo versus Matthias Hughes?
That's true. I mean,
I believe this is the only movie.
That's pretty much what the movie decided. They were like, we've got these guys here. No, or he's the one that's going to get that kill.
Right. We can get Billy and frickin' Matthias Hughes anytime we want. We learn about the science, I guess, somehow. They started explaining the terminal station and what it does.
And, we needed this exposition like 45 minutes before this.
And then, so it's like in this big, like, I guess like a silo. Like that part looked kind of cool. Once they get out of like just the pipes.
Which there are some similarities to the Apple
Except
TV
the silo
series.
is just like being inside a giant pipe.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that's pretty much, there is an Apple TV series called Silo, which is like a scorched earth, people living underground in these very column-shaped worlds. So there's some
how long has that been out now?
A few years. I think they're like 2 or 3 seasons in.
Okay, well, Chad Cruz should have episode 1 anytime now. Anyway, yeah, we get so it's got this control panel type thing that shoots out rockets that are like Death Watch mechanisms.
And you see those graphics show up on the Commodore 64 that Jalal Murray purchased
Right,
for
which
the
again,
graphics in this film.
all the monitors certainly were not 2020 accurate. They weren't even probably like.
They weren't even 1993 accurate.
This
Yeah,
movie also has some tremendous switch flipping. Whenever they cut to like the center where Sparks is, and you just watch all the extras just flipping switches, it almost looks like a nuclear facility control center. You'll see guys just flip like 6 switches up and then flip the same switches right back down. It's like they just told the extras, just flip shit.
Yeah,
like, and action.
There was one, I think, very early on when we first go to the control center. It looked like none of the monitors were actually on. It was just
they had those filters on them, so you only see what's on the screen unless you sit directly in front of it. It's a security
because
thing.
It might have had credit card information on it.
Yeah, you don't want people peeking over your shoulder.
Oh yeah, so Jason is battling these minions while these Death Watch things are being launched. Sumai and Bigelow, that's still going on. Zoe's having flashbacks. Nikki's like, hey, controller, where are you going? Why did you launch those things? We're all going to die. Oh, I've got the antidote. Okay. Well, fuck you. I'm going to kill you and take the antidote. So, that's there. And then we do get a good death, Chris, for, spoiler alert, Bigelow. That whole thing ends with great satisfaction.
Yeah, it turns out that the Gallagher reference earlier, the watermelon thing, was a bit of foreshadowing, and this was another great death where Matthias Hughes starts kind of gurgling blood, much like he did at the end of Black Belt, where he was stabbed in the stomach after he fought Don the Dragon Wilson. But yeah, he however he harnesses the chi, he basically sends his energy through the door into Matthias Hughes's innards and allows them to explode with the force of his punch.
And Eli just falls over on like the catwalk gimmick, and then they just step on him. That was a nice touch. Jason now confronts Zoe again, hoping that this time she doesn't kick him in the balls. And she doesn't. And she eventually snaps out of her programming. And now Sumai shows up because obviously he's free from Bigelow, and he's like, I remember, I know the past, because they're trying, like Zoe, they're trying her last name, they're trying whatever, but Sumai knows the password, and the password was life.
Oh, nice little message at the end of the film.
And then we find out that Zoe, of course, because Zoe is Greek for life. And at this point, this whole fucking movie seemed Greek to me. And I was just happy to see the end credits coming. And we get a little martial artist spotlight before we get the actual credits.
I did like that little bit there at the end, but nice they didn't give one to Bobby Phillips.
No,
she was not included.
Just the martial artist. I don't know that she had because he had a heavier. They each had their weapon. It was a nice little kind of Predator-esque.
It was like a commercial for TC2000 action figures.
Right.
Like, buy them now. This is what they'll come with. Although, they should have showed the Bolo Ninja variant from his outfit when he was letting Billy Blanks rappel down the rope.
Right. So there you go. The end credits. And Ryan Campbell, I know this was a first-time watch for you. Possibly a last time. Your TC2000 thoughts.
Yeah, my thoughts were pretty much similar to what you just said a few minutes ago. I was super into the first act. Second act, they still had me, and then it just tried to do too much at the end. I think it was pretty well paced and well focused for the first 2 acts, and then really kind of once Zoe flips and becomes the X, the T2000X, it's kind of when things start to go off the rails. We get the station thing. We start cramming in all the exposition about her father, and everybody starts turning on each other. We've got like who is the main villain becomes kind of cloudy. So like, I think the third act is a little bit of a mess, which happens a lot in these kinds of movies where like a lot of times they start their pitch as a premise. They start as like, we've got this, this, and this. And then they have to kind of like turn that into a story, and they kind of fail a little bit on the ending. So, but I mean, it had a lot of style. Like I said, there's a lot of really creative shots. I love, I think there's a pretty good attention to detail with a lot of the sets and the costumes and stuff like that for the budget of what they had to kind of to work with. It seems really creative. I think there were people that really tried and worked really hard on this. It just the story kind of falls apart in the third act.
Troy, man, you love this movie. You've seen it multiple times. What did you think about this recent rewatch?
I do love this movie. It's one that resides in the VHS collection as I mentioned, the Vinegar Syndrome DVD release, of course. Uh, I think the reason why I do like it, to Ryan's point, it is pretty well paced. There's a lot of action. It's like every 5 minutes there's a fight scene, so it's not a dull movie. It is quite a bit cheesy. It kind of follows that '90s trope of everything in the future is industrial. Dark spaces, pipes, machines, catwalks, all that type of stuff. But the reason why I like this one more than some of the other films of the era is because it dares to be different. We got so many of the, cops out for revenge, you killed my partner, you know, vengeance is mine, like those types of films. So to have the people that really settled in that realm kind of branch out and do a sci-fi level at like Bolo Young in a sci-fi flick. I mean, it doesn't feel like it should fit, but it does work in the sense of how he's used here. It does feel like they did cram a little bit too much into the runtime, especially towards the end. I totally get that, but this one's it's just a silly, goofy action movie. Like, we probably thought harder about it than anyone else out there that's actually seen it. But that's because we love what we do, and that's why we do this podcast. But yeah, I mean, total harmless martial arts filler type stuff. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. Still a fun one. Enjoyed it. Zach liked it. And Zach actually said he liked it more than some of the other films he watched recently. I believe he said that he liked it more than watching China O'Brien 1. So that's coming from the little guy. That's coming from a 10-year-old. So, but this
Mm,
is also the type of stuff that kind of appeals to a kid like him who's into comic books and video games and stuff like that.
yeah. Um, I would, I can't call this a bad movie. It's impossible to call it a bad movie because
Yeah, it's
just
not.
because of the elements you have in there. I mean, you got Bolo, you got Matthias, you got Billy Blanks. I do remember renting this movie, and it was pretty much based on that cover. It's like, oh, it's like a black Terminator, freaking Billy Blanks. Let's take a look at this. And then I don't think I ever watched this movie again. But I'm like, oh, I remember renting that. So when Vinegar Syndrome put it out, I'm like, yeah, I want this. Total impulse buy. And finally, like, actually sat down and watched the whole thing. Um, and yeah, there was stuff I liked, but yeah, as Ryan said, it just by the end I was like, can this just be over? Because I don't understand what this terminal station's supposed to be doing. It like
And you
kills
know what?
everything for a day, but then in 2 days later, everything's like it's almost like the Star Trek like Genesis gimmick. I don't know what I don't
Yeah,
know
I
what
mean, they kind of planted some seeds like we don't know the whole truth and that the earth, the surface world is healing. And some people think that it can be saved. But like, I get what they're trying to do, but there was some sort of disconnect between those early seeds they planted and then the terminal station thing. Like, they should have made that connection at some point to kind of bridge into that final act. I think that's just kind of where and a lot of movies like this do that. Again, yeah, I agree. This isn't a bad movie, and there's plenty of high concept dystopian movies that just struggle with an ending. It's just hard to get it right.
And I will have to give credit to Jalal Mary because this was one of his projects, but it wasn't a vanity project. I mean, he was basically made to look like a fool all throughout the movie. I mean,
Yeah,
he was,
he did get
you
to
know,
make out with the hot chick.
he did get to make out with the hot chick, but
But
the sex
the
was
only kiss in the
implied. It
whole
was hinted
movie.
at. That was the only other than like calling her as if she had like spent the night saying, "Honey, honey, come here." Um, he's meant to kind of look like the doofus at the end, like just hanging in the silo.
Right.
Apparently, that was to set up a sequel where he was going to come back for revenge, and I guess it never got off the ground. Um, and then he went
He's
and
off
did
the ground though.
what's that?
He's off the ground.
He is off the ground. Okay, dude, boom. You're gonna have to go sit on the couch on Carson tonight with that joke.
Thank you.
Um, but no, I mean, he could have been the hero. He could have been the Jason Storm. He could have been the guy that was teaming with Bolo and everything. And he kind of took a backseat to the rest of the story. So I mean, props for that he put this whole thing together and did not let the spotlight shine on him.
Yes, I did like that. I will completely unrelated to this film. I did have a pretty good dad joke at work this week.
Oh.
My boss is next week going to be visiting his mother, who lives in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So I said, "Does that mean your mother has a Gettysburg address?" That's
did
good.
you say it on a call or did you say it like in an email?
Oh no, on the call.
Good,
I like raise my hand, which I don't normally raise my hand on the thing.
Like physically, or you click
no,
the right
button. The button.
Okay, yeah.
Normally I just unmute and just start rolling with stuff, but I'm like, no, I'm going to build this one up.
Very good.
I'm like, let me raise my hand like this is an official question.
You're the life of the office.
Well, I try. But yeah, that was my dad joke for the week. And I guess I'm a dog dad. As many other people are thinking about becoming. That's
you
right.
Called that one.
That's right. I told you.
You read the tea leaves.
I told you, people.
You know how people think. It's that brain.
That crypto is goddamn over. Over like Rover, legitimately, I tell you.
Which is hard to do because it's they've tried many times to kind of make crypto a thing, and
it's a thing now, and he ain't going away.
Kind of corny or not cool for Superman to have a dog.
And everybody wants their own. Everybody wants their own. Well, not everybody, but a lot more people want a dog now than they did before they saw the movie. I told you, people. All right. You could tell me something if you want, or all of us something if you want, on social media, because we are on all kinds of things. We're on Twitter or X and Blue Sky at Bulletproof Pod, and of course on Instagram and Facebook at Bulletproof Action. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about TC2000. Let us know what you think about whatever. Or just, I don't know, retweet shit. Do what you want.
Do you like dogs? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Do you have a dog? Is he named after an action movie character? Let us know. I will let you all know what's happening next week, and I mentioned this on our Superman episode. But next time, Chris, we will be here. Ryan Campbell will be out of town, like Snake Brown. But Kickboxer 3, The Art of War. I'm looking very forward to revisiting this film. It's been some years since I've seen it.
It's been a couple of years since I did a rewatch during COVID of this one, so it's been a couple of years since I've watched it in full. But you know that I think Kickboxer 2 actually surpassed the original Van Damme Kickboxer. So this being the sequel to that one, we'll see how the first follow-up with Sasha Mitchell was, because much like Best of the Best 2 kind of went a little bit off to the left, we kind of branch out with this one and go in a slightly different direction as well.
And by the time you return, Ryan Campbell, we'll be on to Kickboxer 4, which if you think this was a strange direction, Albert Pune says, hold my beer. You understand? You'll find out. All right. So that'll be next time right here on the podcast. Ryan Campbell, anything you want to say? Have you melted over there yet?
Notice on my laptop
survived the entire
mic disconnected
podcast,
and it's insanely hot. I think my laptop might be melting, so we just got it in. But yeah, not much else. Go check out the YouTube channel. Look out for my Fantastic Four review.
Thank God.
And thank you all for watching. Send me some ice.
Well, they're listening. They're listening. They don't need to watch us. Toyman, anything you want to say?
When you visit bulletproofaction.com, please check out No Surrender Cinema. The most recent review was the 4 Shaolin Challengers. I'm going to have a new one up next week. The subject matter, TBA.
Well, that'll be this week.
Well, that's true. Yeah, as you listen to this, it will be this week. So there will be two new No Surrender Cinemas for this month, as always, up there, in addition to all of my wonderful podcast appearances with my Bulletproof buddies here. So please go and check those out, and then we will see what's on tap for Actionversary. I know you and I have talked about some plans off mic, off the record, but could be the return of some essential episodes. as
And
well as
we might get a little bonus action out of you of Toxic Avengers coming out in August.
yeah, Toxic Avengers coming out. We've talked about some PM representation.
Oh yeah, we need some
So
PM entertainment. And my PM entertainment podcast episode is out and available now. John was having some computer issues, which was the delay, but he's got things up and running. He's also got some nice merchandise. I ordered myself a PM Entertainment t-shirt, so very excited for that. But yeah, you could check out my To Be the Best episode on the PM podcast. Again, wherever if you're listening to this, it's there too. Just look for it. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.